Okay, here we go. 7.8, solving systems of inequalities. Okay, so inequalities, recap. When you see the word inequality, when you hear the word inequality, what comes to mind?
It's not.
What?
It's not.
Okay.
What?
No, do I do that to you? What?
No, just
No. There could be some positives and negatives involved, yes. What do I mean when we talk about inequalities? Aiden? Yes, we're talking about the greater than or greater than and equal to, less than or less than and equal to, etc., etc., etc. Okay? See, every time I teach inequalities, I always ask that question because we forget what inequalities mean, sometimes. So inequalities, we're dealing with this. Now, y'all have done this before. Basically, we're doing the same thing we've been doing for 7.1, 7.2, blah, blah, blah. But instead of an equal sign, y equals mx plus b, we're doing y is like maybe greater than mx plus b. So we're just replacing the equal sign with that. Okay, now this is where kids get creative. I'm going to use a highlighter. You can use a different colored pencil. Okay, if you have a pencil. The only problem, and you'll understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. The only problem is, the reason I say always just use pencil is because if you make a mistake, you can erase it. If you choose to use colored pencils or highlighters in your work today, and you make a mistake, you won't be able to erase it. Okay, so you don't have to use any colored pencils or highlighters. But my gosh, I remember even Allie's class with Becca and Elizabeth and everything. They loved the opportunity to use colored pencils. And they would have all these different colors and stuff like that. That's fine. Whatever. But just know if you make a mistake, your pretty little graph is going to have to be completely redone because you can't erase it. Okay, here we go. We're going to be solving a system of inequalities, and I'm about to give you the steps. Solving a system of inequalities. Step 1. You're going to graph. Yes, today we're graphing, so you're going to need rulers and graph paper and all that good stuff. Graph all inequalities on the same set of axes. I think that's plural for the AXIS. I'm not a grammar teacher, so if I misspell a word, just overlook it. I'm sorry. I can't even speak in correct English, much less write it, so I don't care.
I'm pretty sure that's correct.
Okay, thank you, Taylor, for making sure I'm correct. All right, so we're going to graph all the inequalities on... Taylor, I love you. I love messing with you. If I mess with you, it's because I like you. Okay. Or I don't want to make anyone cry. Gabby, ever since I made you cry that day, I just cannot forgive myself. Do you remember that? Wasn't that last year, April Fool?
Yes.
See?
It was funny though.
No.
I don't remember that.
No, that's why I don't want to mess with
What was it?
She cried
What?
because of my joke.
Oh, the joke that you gave us a wrong quiz?
I think I gave everyone bad grades or something, right?
No, you gave us a.
Oh, I gave y'all the wrong exam.
Yeah.
And she was so stressed out.
And we had no idea, and we didn't remember at all.
I was looking at it and I was like, oh yeah.
I'm so
this is
scared for this year.
Yeah.
You should be scared.
Oh no.
Okay.
We have like we have an idea.
Just
Yeah,
like,
but it's
I
like
don't
not
care
garbage.
how
It's not
prepared.
garbage. It's not like a garbage idea, like tape under mouse.
That's an easy one.
That one's easy.
No. Do you,
Terrible,
see, that's my students have always done silly things, so I'm fine. But no, every year kids are like, we're ready. I get y'all every single year.
No. Me and Michael are gonna get you this year though.
Ah,
going in.
I look
No.
forward to it.
It's just too simple.
Okay, so we're gonna graph all the inequalities. That means graph on same graph. So you're gonna have multiple lines that you're graphing on the Cartesian plane. Number 2, find the solution set where the shaded regions intersect. Okay, you remember when you graph an inequality, you shade above the line, below the line. Y'all remember that? If you don't, I'll, remind you. The solution set is where the shaded regions intersect. Hey, knock on that window.
Yeah, just do.
Just knock on there. Just knock.
Louder.
Knock it louder. Like bang on it.
Like,
put a hole through the wall.
Dude, come on.
do it again. Taylor.
Do it again.
Do.
Just say you can do it.
You're just knocking.
Okay.
Oh
Alright. Okay, I think she got the message. Okay. I'm dying. She's laughing. Okay. 3. You don't need to do 3. Okay, so let's get started. The solution set is going to be where the shaded regions intersect. Okay, let's do an example. Let's just jump into examples. I'm not going to worry about anything else. All right, so examples, page 321. So open your books to page 321. Once I give you an example, you're going to know. I told y'all this is going to be like crazy lesson day.
Oh, is that a joke?
No, I mean like legit. I'm all over the place. Okay, is everyone open to that page? Hopefully. Am I open to that page? Yes. Okay. All right, so when we are graphing inequalities on the line, don't forget, if you have a less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, is that a solid or dashed line? Raise your hand. Gabby, solid. Solid line. Okay? You can always remember that because of the line down here. Now, if I have just a regular less than or greater than, that's going to be your dashed line. Hopefully some of you are like, oh yeah, I remember doing this year.
Last year.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're right. 2021. Okay, so whenever you have this, it's a solid line. This is a dashed line. One more thing. If it's like this or like this, do we shade above or below? Raise your hand. Gabby again. That's right. We're going to shade below. If it's less than or less than and equal to, we shade below. If it's greater than or greater than and equal to, we shade above. Again, hopefully y'all remember this. You need to write that down. Y'all have it? If you're done, you need to put your pencil down so I know you're done. Cecilia, are you drawing or are you taking notes? Okay. So let's look at number 9. We have, it says, graph each system of inequalities, list one point in your solution set. List one point. I don't remember that. No, you don't have to do that. No, don't even look at that. Okay, all we're going to do is graph each system of inequalities, and then you're going to you're going to show the answer, the solution, okay? The answer, I'm going to show that to you. So number 9, it's y is less than or equal to x minus 2, and that's line 1. Line 2 is y is greater than or equal to 3x minus 5. Okay, so line 1 is that, line 2 is this. For line 1, what is the slope? Aiden?
1.
Or 1 over 1. What is the y-intercept? Aiden?
-2.
-2. Is this a solid or dashed line? Gabby? So we know it's a solid. Is this shade above or below? Gabby? Shade below. We need to know all that. How about over here? What is the slope? Someone other than Aiden and Gabby. With
3.
3 or 3 over 1. What is the y-intercept? Taylor?
-5.
Okay. We look at this. Is this a solid or dashed line? Cecilia?
It's solid.
That's right. And we look at this, and Michael, is it shade above or below? That's right, above. Okay, this is already, both of these are already in y equals mx plus b. So we don't have to do any arranging. It's ready to be graphed. Now, you will be using graphed paper for your homework, but right now for notes, we're just going to try to do the best we can. Freehanding it, it'll still give you the idea of what to do. So we're going to draw our Cartesian plane. Now, I'm going to graph this first one here. The first point we put on there is our y-intercept, which is -2. So I go down on the y and put a dot at -2. Then I do my slope, and that is 1 over 1. So I go up 1 and over 1. And again, you want to do multiple ones just to be safe. Up 1, over 1. Now, we decided that this is a solid line. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my solid line. This is line 1. Are y'all with me so far?
Yep.
Then we graph the second one. The y-intercept is -5. So that's the first point I'm going to put on there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's the y-intercept for the second line. My slope is really 3/1. So I'm going to rise 1, 2, 3, and then over 1. 1, 2, 3, and over 1. That's also a solid line. Yeah, this is kind of close. Wait, I forgot to shade. Why didn't y'all say something?
Because I thought you did it after.
No, line 1. See, why didn't y'all tell me?
Because I thought you did it after.
All right, line 1, we got to shade below. So before I draw, I'm going to shade below. This is where my students will say, okay, line 1's going to be blue, and they'll shade blue. And then line 2, they'll say is pink. This one is shade above. So I'm going to shade above. Now, once you have this, I want you to look. The area, your answer, the solution set. Find the solution set where the shaded regions intersect. Guys, where the shaded area covers both. Like both shaded areas are covered in the same place. Look at this right here. See this area right here? This is where the different colors would be helpful. If you look, see I'm shading this area, and then I shaded this area. This area right here is where they both are shaded. This is your answer. That's why I use a highlighter. So I want you to look at this. All you have to do is graph the two lines correctly, shade correctly, and the area where both shading intersects or overlaps, that is your answer. So how do you write this as an answer? Like I just did. I'll have students that, like I'm telling you, they'll do like a light blue for this line, and then like a pink for this line, and then they'll do a totally different color for this line. You see what I'm saying? And this is the area that is your answer. And if it's not obvious, if there's, see, like if I were to turn this into my teacher, they would say, oh yeah, I can see right there, you've made it very clear what your answer is. It has to be clear to me. Now, if you don't want to use different, now let's say you're like, man, I don't want to mess up and then have to redo it all. So I want to do it in pencil. Okay, let's say you want to do it in plain pencil. If you do it in plain pencil, that's fine, but then I want you to like circle the answer. That's all you'll need to do. Just make sure, or you can take the pencil and make this part darker or something like that. Does that make sense? So this is all you're doing, is you're graphing two lines, and then where the shading part meets, that's your answer. Any questions? Okay, let's do another one. Number 11. Line 1 is, and by the way, over here, I still didn't do it because I'm not thinking. If you write, like, this is line 1, this is line 2, if you put like a little 1 and 2 on your lines, you don't have to, but if you were to get it wrong, it's easier for me to see which one you got wrong because I won't know which one goes with which equation if it's wrong. You see what I'm saying? I'll be able to say, oh, well, your first equation's wrong, and let me show you why or something like that. So putting a little 1 and 2 actually helps me to help you. You don't have to. All right, 11. It's y is greater than or equal to negative 2x plus 6. In line 2 is y is less than 1 over 3x minus 5. Okay, first of all, are these in y equals mx plus b format? Yes, they are. So we don't have to do any ranging to get them there. So let's label what is our slope. Cecilia, what's our slope? That's right, negative 2 over 1. Good job. Our y-intercept, there you go. Cecilia, is it a solid or dashed line? What?
Line.
Is it solid or dashed?
I think she's going more crazy than you.
It is solid. Okay, above. Good, we shade above. Okay, for line 2, Michael, what is my slope? 1 over 3. Y-intercept? Negative 5. Solid or dashed line? Good. Shade below or below? Above. Shade below or above? Below. Okay. So, let's start graphing. Okay, so this one, my y-intercept is 6. And y'all can go ahead and graph and see if you got what I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because I know this in your first rodeo. All right. Then my slope is negative 2 over 1. So since it's negative 2, I'm going to go down 2, but to the right 1. So it's negative 2, so I go down and then positive 1. 1, 2, and then 1. Okay, it's a solid line. And we shade above. And I'm shading lightly so that I'll be able to easily see where the shading crosses. And that is for line 1. Y'all with me so far? Okay, so line 2. The y-intercept is negative 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a dot. And then my slope is positive 1 over 3. So I go over 1 and 1, 2, 3. Or 1, 2, 3. Up 1. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and this one is dashed. This is line 2. and we shade below. Okay. So the area that they overlap, the shading overlaps, is right here. So there's my answer. And again, if you're using just regular pencil, all you have to do is, like, you can even darken this right here, shade it real dark or something, just so that I know what your answer is. Any questions? You understand? All right, let's look at 15. Wait, I'm gonna wait till Cecilia is done. Keep working, Cecilia. Oh, you're done? Are you sure you're done? Okay, everyone has this, no questions? All right, let's look at 15. Okay, it says write the system represented by each graph. Okay, this time we're doing the opposite. They gave you the graph on number 15, and they want you to write the system represented. Notice they are also using two different colors. What they're asking for 15 is what are the two equations by looking at that graph. So your answer is going to be two equations. So let's look at, let's say, the blue line. Let's look at the blue line. And I'm even going to write blue line. Okay, first of all, we know it's always going to be y. Well, not really. It could be even an x. But we're going to go with y. It's going to be some format of y equals mx plus b is what they're looking for, right? So, first of all, blue line. Is it solid or dashed? It's solid. We know that. Is it shaded below or above? Whit?
Below.
That's right. It's shaded below. So that's going to help us right there. So then what does the inequality look like for the blue line? Raise your hand. Gabby? That's right. Less than or equal to. Because if it's a solid line, we know it's going to be an equal to. If it's shaded below, it's going to be a less than. So because the blue line is solid and they shaded below, we know it looks like this. Now, does the blue line have a slope at all? No. So we don't even have an X or anything. Where does it cross on the y-axis? Whit?
Positive 2.
So there's your first equation. That's one of your answers. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and box it. Now we have to do the red line. Okay, the red line, is it solid or dashed, Michael? Cecilia, is it shaded above or below? Okay, so what does that inequality look like, Cecilia? Is it greater than, less than, greater than, equal to, or less than or equal to? If it's a solid line and we shade below, what is the inequality that we're going to put there? Okay, so it's less than because it's shaded below, but it's solid, so what am I missing? The line. If it's solid, it's gonna have the line underneath it. If it's shaded below, you know it's a less than. Y'all gotta know this. Okay, let's see. Taylor, what is the y-intercept?
1.
So it's +1. We know there's going to be an x there. Raise your hand if you can tell me what the slope is. Taylor?
1/3.
Positive?
Yeah. Wait. Oh, -1/3.
Thank you. It's -1/3. Because if you look at the y-intercept starts at 1, it goes down 1 and to the right 3. Does everyone see that? If you don't, you need to raise your hand. Okay, there's your second answer. That's what they're looking for. Any questions? Let's do one more.
Yeah.
17. Okay, we have a red line and a blue line again. Let's start with blue line. All right, solid or dashed line? Raise your hand. Width.
Dashed.
Shade above or below? Aiden.
Above.
All right, so we have Y. Cecilia, you're going to redeem yourself. What does the inequality look like if it's dashed and shade above?
Greater than
With the line?
no line.
No line, that's right. Shade above, so it's greater than. It's dashed, so no line. Good job. Okay, who can tell me what the y-intercept is for the blue line? Width?
+4.
So we have a +4. Okay, so starting at that y-intercept, can someone raise their hand and tell me what the slope is? Michael? 1/3. So there's my first answer. Any questions? If you're not sure where they're getting the slope and stuff, you've got to tell me, or we have to move on. I'm going to assume you understand this. All right, red line. Solid or dashed? Everyone yell it out.
Solid.
Shade above or below?
Below.
Yes, you're right. The one person that yelled it out. Below. So, inequality. Raise your hand. What would it be? Aiden.
Less than or equal to.
Less than or equal to. Because if it's shade below, it's less than. If it's a solid, there's going to be a line underneath it. Good job. All right, y-intercept. Width.
2.
2. Yep. So, we start at that 2. Slope. Taylor.
2.
2.
+2.
+2. There's your 2 answers.
This time I am positive.
Good. I'm glad
Because
you're
last time I
positive.
thought you were asking if I was positive.
I got you. Any questions? All right, guys, look at 19 through 28. Are you all looking at 19 through 28? You're going to do the same thing as we did here. But 19 through 28, you have to put things into y equals mx plus b format. You know, by doing a true or alert, which we've been doing this chapter. Any questions? Yes.
Why for numbers 25 to 28 there's like an x is greater than or equal to 0?
Oh, y'all not going to do those. Don't worry about that. Okay.
But you were going to do it.
Yes, you're going to graph all 3 of those. You graph all 3 of those, and then you shade and you find where they all meet. Yeah. And like, look at 28, there's 4. You graph all 4 of those and find where they all meet. It's the same thing.
That would seem really crazy,
Oh, that's,
chaotic, and a bunch of lines.
okay, yes it is. Okay. Page 321. You're gonna be doing numbers 10 through 24 even. And actually, I changed my mind. Thank you. Honors
Yeah.
12 through 26 even. Let's see how you do.
Let's go.
Yeah. Y'all got this. Maybe I should add more.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
Only
No.
for Taylor.
Okay, can I turn off the lights?
This is due Friday. You have a quiz Friday.
Leave me alone.
No.
Yes.
You can go.